A beautiful morning to you. This is the 15th of December 2023 and you're listening to High Impact 102.1 FM. Thank God it's Friday and I am delighted to welcome you to another thrilling edition of the newspaper review on High Impact 102.1 FM. I am Olumide Shokoya. Of course, I'm not the only one doing the papers. I also have Joy Otuma in the studios. Good morning, Joy. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Good morning and good morning, citizens of High Impact 102.1 FM, and welcome to Newspaper Review.
All right, today we'll be looking at the papers. Don't forget, we're streaming also on YouTube and on X. That's at High Impact 102.1 FM. You can also join the conversation by calling our number 0700 1021 1021, or you can send a WhatsApp message to 0907 224 5018. 0907 224 5018. All right, some of the stories on the newspaper this morning seems to be very interesting. One of which is the war going on between Wike and, of course, the governor of Port Harcourt, governor of Rivers State, I beg your pardon. That's Siminalayi Fubara. About 27 of the lawmakers decamped to APC from PDP. And now, one of the stories on the Guardian newspaper coming this morning says that 5 commissioners resign. Pro-Wike lawmakers pass bill. This war between Wike and, of course, Siminalayi Fubara seems not to end. What do you think about it? All right, moving on. Another interesting story that we will be looking at is the proposal from the World Bank. That's the World Bank is proposing 750 naira per litre. Now, according to the World Bank, it says that the federal government is actually subsidizing or paying secret subsidy to petroleum marketers. Now, it's saying that the petrol price should go to 750 naira per litre. And NLC is warning the federal government to reject the World Bank proposal. These are some of the stories we'll be looking at on the Punch newspaper this morning. All right, let's start off with the Punch newspaper this morning. The bold headline reads, just like I said earlier on, full price. Reject World Bank 750 naira per litre proposal. NLC warns federal government. I have 2 writers to that story. Labour says fresh price hike would lead to anarchy. Federal government insists subsidy has been removed. Now, from the report by the World Bank, it says that the federal government should stop paying subsidy, which the allegation basically means that the federal government is secretly paying subsidy. That's what this means. Now, the second writer says Tinubu government fears unrest, subsidizing fuel secretly. Marketers allege project 1,000 naira per litre. So it's even 1,000 naira per litre the marketers are proposing, not the 750 naira the World Bank is proposing. So which brings to question, why is the government secretly paying subsidy? I thought May 29th, when President Tinubu was sworn into government, one of his first speech, or one of his first rule was that subsidy is gone. And up from then on till now, we have been reaping the, should I say, dividends or the effects of subsidy removal. So many things have happened. The NLC have, they've planned, they've threatened to go on mother of all strikes. So many things have happened. There has been an on and off, back and forth between the federal government and the NLC. Now we are hearing that there's secret subsidy payment. It's really quite sad. And when our guest comes in, we will shed more light on that. Quickly, let's move on. Just above the nameplate of the Punch newspaper, we have this one. 6 Rivers commissioners resign. Assembly factions hold parallel sittings. Now, yesterday, there was a video that was circulated online of how the House of Assembly in Rivers State was demolished and all that. And, so many things are just spiraling out of Port Harcourt, and you're wondering what's really happening there. What's happening? It's a war that between two people who used to be friends, who used to it was sort of like shall I say father and a son kind of relationship, which went sour, and ever since then it has not. And it's also owing to the fact that both of them are from the same political party, PDP. But there seems to be some sort of disunity. Will I say, yes, I dare say disunity in the party. Quickly, let's move on from there. We have another one. Aviation agencies, 50 directors sacked. EFCC grills NCAA chiefs. That's on page 29 of the Punch newspaper. Moving on, we have another one. Customs generate 70% revenue from Lagos, says Controller General. Of course, Lagos seems to be, trailing the blaze here. While moving on, we have 32 states budget 14 trillion naira for roads, health, and others. You can find more of that on the Punch newspaper this morning. Kidnappers return to Lagos, abduct 2 and demand 500 million naira. This story about kidnappers, it's something that we seem not to get the end of it. Kidnappers here and there, and it has actually made a lot of people, stop traveling by road. Most people now, they go through the hardship of trying to get enough money, because when you talk about airfares, it's almost ridiculous to travel by air right now. I'm not kidding you. I mean, I think nothing below 100,000 naira. If you are planning to not even if you're planning to travel from here to Abuja, I think it's about 150 or thereabout. And this thing it seems not to be going away, and it's really sad that this is where we are at. Kidnappers here and there demanding ransoms. All right, let's take the last story here. We have National Assembly probes $496 million Itakwe iron ore judgment payment. And that's about it on the Punch newspaper this morning.
All right, moving on the newspaper review this morning, and coming straight up from Daily Trust newspapers. Keyamo sacks 33 aviation directors appointed by Sirika. The writers to this story, we have removal, not surprising, road table. I'm guessing that has to do with the subsidy on the petrol story. Officials removed while overseas, and minister advised to harmonize departments. Other writers to this story up, we have Nigerian other developing countries spent $443 billion on debt servicing, says World Bank, and we can find this on page 23. On page 23 of the Daily Trust newspapers. Moving on, FIFA approves 30 Nigerian referees for 2024 competitions. And we can find this on page 3, on page 39 of Daily Trust newspapers. Also, we have Fubara signs 2024 budget into law and 24 hours presentation. This can be found on page 13 of the Daily Trust newspapers. On the Daily Trust newspapers, we also have Naira scarcity. POS agents hike charges by 100%. We can find this on page 23 of the Daily Trust newspaper. I think that's all we have on the Daily Trust newspapers this morning.
All right, don't forget that we're streaming live right now on YouTube and on X. That's at High Impact 102.1 FM. You can also join the conversation by calling our number 0700 1021 1021, 0700 1021. You can also send WhatsApp message to 0907 224 5018. Quickly, let's move on to the Guardian newspaper this morning. The bold headline says 5 commissioners resign. Pro-Wike lawmakers pass bill. As Fubara signs budget, 5 commissioners resign. Pro-Wike lawmakers pass bills. That's on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. We have a picture of course, the minister of FCT, that's Wike, and of course we have Siminalai Fubara. Both of them, they're at war right now. They're loggerheads, and it seems not to come to an end this time, and people might be wondering who might be able to wade into it. Yes, recently the president waded into this whole war, but it seems not to have died down. Now quickly, let's move on. Restoring the dignity and functions of the police. That's an editorial on page 12, page 12 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Moving on to all the stories here, we have tragedy as overhead water tank collapses, kills a 9-day-old baby, mother in Ondo. That's a sad one. It's not the type of news you should be hearing this morning, but condolences to the families. Moving on, Nigerians free to video photograph officers on duty. This is a good one. This is coming from the police. Nigerians, let me take it again slowly. Nigerians free to video photograph officers on duty, because this has always been some sort of there's always been some sort of fracas between the police and civilians. Once you put up your phone, it's either they want to snatch it, it's either they are telling you cannot film them. But this is coming from the police saying that Nigerians are free to record. You can film them, you can record them, you can snap pictures of them on duty whenever you are being stopped or whatever that is going on. If you suspect any foul play, you can actually record them on duty. This is coming from the police itself, and you can read more of that on page 2 of the Guardian newspaper. Moving on, we have federal government faults World Bank insists fuel subsidy is gone. Now it's really, well, I think our guest would have to shed light on it, because this is World Bank. This is not some sort of an sensational buzz and all that. This is not some sort of blogger. This is coming from a World Bank, a reputable institution, saying that the federal government is still paying subsidy, and the federal government is saying no, they are not paying subsidy. The subsidy is gone. Moving on, we have anxiety in Southeast as Supreme Court rules on Nnamdi Kanu today. This has been an age-long issue. It has always been in our minds, has always been here every time. Nnamdi Kanu's judgment should be today, and well, we can only pray for a favorable judgment. Moving on, we have this one: when search for perfect silhouette leads to undesirable outcomes. This is a report on cosmetic surgery. I think you might want to read more of that on page 4 and 5 of the Guardian newspaper. And I think that's all we have this morning on the Guardian newspaper.
Alright, it's still a newspaper review at High Impact 102.1 FM, and moving on to Vanguard newspaper this morning. We have the Rivers crisis saying assembly factions flex muscles, and these can be found on page 5 of Vanguard newspaper. Okay, so the Pro Fubara House passes 2024 budget within 24 hours. That is one of the writers on the Vanguard newspaper. Also, we would find the Save Our Democracy and Crisis in Rivers as Asaf begs Tinumbu. Moving on to other stories on Vanguard newspaper, a kitty bloody robbery. We've recovered 3 vehicles, says the police, and these can be found at page 7 of the Vanguard newspaper. Also on COVID-19, a resurgence in Benue report a misrepresentation of WHO's statement, says NCDC. The story can be found on page 8 of the Vanguard newspaper. According to CBN, inflation and exchange rates to drop in 2024. I pray so. We pray that it happens, but let's just keep our fingers crossed. And the full story on this can be found on page 8 of the Vanguard newspaper. Right above the newspaper, bank deposits surge in 2023 to 64.26 trillion naira. These can be found on page 19 of the Vanguard newspaper. Moving on, patriotism will put Nigeria on right path, says President Tinubu. Patriotism will put Nigeria on right path, says Tinubu on page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper. Also, the World Igbo Congress urges Supreme Court to free Nnamdi Kanu unconditionally. You can find this on page 11 of the Vanguard newspaper. Another story that we have can be found on page 10, and this is how to reform Supreme Court. This is coming from Sanwo-Olu, Alogba and Olaonipekun. You can find the story at page 10 of the Vanguard newspaper. Other stories are that of the aviation minister, who has sacked all directors of NAMA, NCAA, and NIMET, and others. Aviation minister sacks all directors of NAMA, NCAA, NIMET, and others. The story can be found on page 8 of the Vanguard newspaper. Moving on, democracy cannot be introduced from abroad or from another country and not by military force, says Owe Lakemfa. The story is on page 17 on Vanguard newspaper. And on sports, we have Pesero submits 33-man provisional squad list. This story is on page 31 of the Vanguard newspaper. I think that is all the stories that we have on Vanguard newspaper this morning on Newspaper Review.
Don't forget, you can take part in the conversation by calling our phone line 0700 1021 1021 or send WhatsApp messages to 0907 224 5018. We're streaming on YouTube and on X at High Impact 102.1 FM. We'll take a short break for now. When we come back, we'll begin with the part 2 of the discussion. Stay tuned.
Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
Make manage, multiply, and maximize your money. With successful summit at Money Magnet Show. Money Magnet Show.
It's Money Magnet Show with Successful Summit.
On High Impact Radio, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Fridays, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. with Successful Summit.
Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
The news in one.
Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
Welcome back to the newspaper review on High Impact 102.1 FM. Don't forget that we're streaming on YouTube and on X at High Impact 102.1 FM. You can also take part in the conversation by calling our phone line 0700 1021 1021 or send WhatsApp messages to 0907 224 5018. We're still on the papers, and one of the interesting stories that we'll be looking at on the papers this morning is this story about the fuel subsidy. It's really quite sad that, I've actually anticipated this, that there's no how fuel will remain less than 600 naira while the dollar is 1,000 naira, and there's some sort of explanation. So I've always suspected this, that there's sort of a foul play, and I'm not surprised that the World Bank is saying that the federal government should jack up the fuel price to 750 naira, while the oil marketers are saying the fuel price should come up to 1,000 naira, which is quite illogical. Right about now, let's bring in our guest, Dr. Adedayo Kayode. Good morning, Dr. Adedayo Kayode, and welcome to the show.
Hello?
Good morning. Can you hear us?
Hello, I'm not hearing you. Hello, if you are hearing me, I'm not hearing you.
All right, let's quickly go on a short break, and we'll be right back.
Hello?
Good morning, sir. Good morning, Dr. Adedayo Kayode. Can you hear us this time?
Yeah, good morning. How are you?
Thank you for joining us on the newspaper review. All right, let's quickly,
hello?
Yes, I can hear you. Let's quickly get your thoughts on this. The World Bank has proposed that the federal government should jack up the fuel price to 750 naira, which means the federal government has been secretly paying subsidy. Now, the petrol marketers, on the other hand, are saying the federal government should jack up the price to 1,000 naira. So my question is this: why is the government really secretly paying subsidy?
What do you say?
My question is the federal government really paying subsidy? Are they secretly paying subsidy? Because the World Bank has accused them of...
I think this network is bad this morning.
Wow. All right,
this network is bad.
Oh, okay. No
Not
problem.
hearing you properly.
Let's go on a short break now, and we'll be right back.
All right, welcome back. It's still the newspaper review on High Impact 102.1 FM. And yes, you've got two people right on your microphone this morning. My name is Joy Otto, and together with me here is
Olumide Shokoya.
All right, so together we'll be taking some stories. Sorry about that little break in transmission. That's what I will call it.
It's a network issue.
Network issue, and there is nothing we can do about it, unfortunately. So, moving on to the stories that we shared today, one of the stories talked about the hike in, shall I say, the prices of POS operators.
Yes.
Following the, shall I say, lack of money, of cash.
Yes,
of
there
withdrawal
has been
right
this
now.
allegation that there is shortage of currency in circulation. Now, owing to the fact that some people thought that by December the old notes will be retracted, both the CBN has come out to say that both the old note and the new note still continue to be a legal tender in the country. But somehow, even in the banks, I know, because over the weekend I tried to use the ATM and none of the ATMs were dispensing, which was rather strange because over the weekend, I mean, most people, go to the ATMs
over the weekend
and withdraw cash for the week. So it was quite surprising not to get cash from the ATMs. And when you go to the POS, I wanted to withdraw just 5,000 naira, and I was told it's 200 naira. I was like, no.
So we're back to this again. I mean, this is the second time that this will be happening in 1 year. And I could remember when it happened the first time, it wasn't funny at all. My goodness. I mean, I was opportune to go to the bank, I think just once, because I have this habit of withdrawing in bulk and then keeping. So I didn't really feel it. But then when I needed to visit the bank, I saw old people literally crying and begging, oh, this money is not for me, it's for someone that is really old. And it wasn't funny because POS operators, they were charging, like, how will I put it? Now you want to withdraw 5,000 naira and they charge like 2,000 or 3,000. Yes. I mean, it was crazy. It wasn't nice at all. And now we are back to it again, and this is the festive period. A lot of people want to withdraw in bulk and celebrate with their families. So some people will go as far as, you know what, let's just do this. So we are back to that worshipping POS operators. We are back to that life of begging, pleading. For some people, you have to wake up so early to go to someone that that have money, so as to be able to get. And I don't think it's going to be funny at all. Yes,
it's quite sad that we are back to this. Even as at I think 2 days ago, I wanted to withdraw cash from POS. The popular POS that I normally withdraw from, she was like she had no cash. There was another time I went to meet her and she told me she doesn't have more than 2,000. I wanted 5,000. She told me she doesn't have more than 2,000 naira.
And that 2,000 you have to withdraw it for what? For 200 naira.
I didn't even ask her. I didn't even ask her because it's quite funny because I mean we have new currencies and I believe that before you go ahead and print new currencies, you should have taking some sort of you should have done your research, research, and you should pump in enough considering the population in Nigeria. Lagos alone, the population in Lagos is not joking at all, so you should have a lot. And the fact that the old currency is still in circulation, so we shouldn't be having problems. If it's just the new currencies that are in circulation, we could say, oh, maybe they did not print enough. But we have both the old and the new in circulation. So what is really going on? Is it that they are secretly, taking back the old notes? Or I really don't know.
I mean, I feel like there is actually no problem if we keep using both currencies till the more you go to withdraw, the more they give you more new notes, and before you know it will just go around in circulation. But a situation whereby you go to withdraw either through the ATM or inside the bank and you still get more old notes than new notes. So how is it going to balance up? It's going to take time. If the more people go to ATMs, the more they go to banks to withdraw, they get more new notes than old notes. Then definitely within a very short period of time, all this will be history. But we still get more old notes. That is to say, we have more old notes in banks than new notes. So how is it our fault?
Exactly.
Why should we be the one to suffer for it?
There used to be a popular bank near my area that I know they were always dispensing new notes. That was during the whole cash crunch thing. But right now, it's all old notes. I can count the number of new notes, the number of 1,000 new notes I've come across in a week. I think maybe once or twice.
In a week? You didn't even say in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I mean,
I think the 200 naira new note is more in circulation than the 1,000 naira.
And 500.
And 500. Yes, it's more in circulation than the 1,000 naira. So it's rather quite sad that we are experiencing at this festive period, where people would actually need money to celebrate anywhere, because I mean, of course, you need money. Fine, yes, we want to operate a cashless society, but you cannot go to the market. You want to buy tomatoes, or you want to buy some other
and you want to do transfer.
I want to do
You want to
transfer.
do a transfer, because most of those market people do not actually have accounts.
Yes,
You know.
yes.
But the thing is, when this cash crunch happened the first time, I think a lot of people adjusted.
Yes.
You know, even yesterday I wanted to get suya, and
Mm-hmm.
someone wanted to buy, and the person was like, transfer, and he said yes. So I think that cash crunch actually helped. A lot of people now have accounts. But the thing is, the problem is still that the right measures have not been put in place
Yes.
to make this easy for citizens.
Yes.
So why do and the way it's going to affect transactions this December is not just will it be difficult for people to get money from, you know, POS operators and banks, but then it will also cause a hike in price of commodities, because we look for every opportunity to increase prices. So you hear there is no cash outside and all, or maybe you want to make a transfer now, and they tell you that you have to add 100 naira or 150, you know, because of it. And there are actually some banks that when you credit that account, you get lower than, I don't want to, you know, you do not get
we're all
the
familiar
exact.
with it.
Do you understand?
We are
So
all familiar with
imagine
that.
you want to get something from someone now, and such a person is using a bank as that. Definitely, you have to add more than what you are, the price of what you are getting,
Yes.
because the person will not want to be at a loss. So it's going to affect a whole lot of things, and I just hope that something is done quickly and fast, and people. And they accept the fact that we need to keep using both currencies before the right measures are being put in place.
Yeah, just like you said, they can actually take back all the old notes secretly without no one knowing. I mean, just
Knowing,
pump
yes, more new notes.
more
I mean,
new
that's
notes.
the solution.
And when people bring the old notes, you take it and give them. You can even. It's very simple. You can just ask people, bring your own notes in exchange for new notes. That's
notes.
the simplest way we can actually, you know, take the old notes and bring in the new notes. Just tell people to bring the old note at no expense, at no cost, at nothing. Do you understand? And pump
Yeah.
all the ATMs with new notes, no old notes. That's the easiest thing. That's if we don't want to keep using the old note. Another interesting story I read earlier on is the one of the police, whereby the police has now said that Nigerians can actually film police officers. This is something that I think it will also curb corruption. It will also curb police brutality.
Yes.
To an extent, because now when the police know that you can actually film them and
this,
it's not illegal, it's not a crime to film them, I think they would be wary of things that they do, the vices that they perform on the roads. But because I mean, we are all familiar with the vices the police perform. I mean, when you get stopped by police, there's this sort of fear, not that you're a criminal, not that you've done anything wrong, but there's this sort of fear that just comes that, hey, this police now, I hope they will not shoot me. I hope they will not shoot me. I hope they will. Do you understand? I hope they will not try to put anything, try to incriminate me on. You know, there has been so many stories I've heard about police encounters and whatnot, especially at night. When you're driving at night, it's always, I mean, people always...
you always have to drive in fear. But then I have a question. Do you actually think that this law that have been put in place will actually work?
It should
especially
work.
in a place like Lagos.
It should work. It should work.
I don't know. For some reason, I'm scared in advance, because I can just picture a scenario where being stopped by a police officer, and then I try to make a video, and then I'm telling the police officer, see, I'm allowed to. It's not. Do you actually think it will work? Because I feel like a lot of these men work with anger. Okay, so I just hope that this will not cause more casualties than we think.
If you look at the case of the late lawyer who died, that was shot by this cop, by Drandy Vandy, the case was rather a sad one. It was a trigger-happy cop. So when you look at that, also you cannot but note the fact that we have some police officers who are trigger happy at any instance, at any provocation, they will open fire. So just like so, and police officers, senior police officers, the educated ones, the ones that actually who might say are actually well knowledged, they will tell you to be polite as possible, be kind to them, approach them, do not approach them with hostility. You have to be kind to them also. So when you're being stopped by the police, I think there's nothing bad in you greeting them first, hello, good afternoon, good morning, even though we don't always want to. The first thing that might want to pop out of your mouth is, what is the problem? When you get stopped by police, the first question is, what's the problem?
What did I do?
What did I do?
Yeah.
So I think we can go through another approach by saying, good morning, good evening, how are you doing today, sir? I think that would sort of break down any hostility they have towards you. It would create a soft ground, and just do whatever they say, whatever request they want, whatever papers they ask of, whatever identification they're asking from you. I think it's just polite enough to just give it to them. Then if at the instance, after you've done all that, they might want to say, okay, do you have any? Yes. It's common knowledge. They will ask you, do you have anything for us? Sir, it's very easy. You can even, maybe English might be too advanced for them, so you can switch to pidgin English.
Pidgin.
Sir, I beg, I don't get any money. We are all managing. We serve just the man. You know, say as this country be. I think you just try and relate with them. With them that I don't get money. I mean, you can't forcefully dip his hand into your pocket to confirm whether you have money or not. Yeah, that's just it. So I think you just have to be polite enough. And if it now starts to escalate into another thing, then you can recall them. Because sometimes we hear police officers searching vehicles and they finding something, and there's this sort of altercation saying that no, it wasn't in my car. And I've witnessed so many. There was a time we were driving at night and the police stopped us, and they wanted to search our car, and we had to put on all the lights. We brought our phones. We were recording. We had to record the whole thing. We put on the lights in the car.
But they were not aware that you were recording,
no,
right?
They were aware. We told them that we were going to record them.
Oh, wow.
That we record every instant, and we did not stay. They wanted us to stay far away from the car. And we said, no, we are not going to hinder you from searching. You can search the car, but we will also be there because we want to ensure that both of us are nobody's in the wrong or anything like that. So there's so many experiences that I've had with the police, but this particular statement is quite reassuring. I think Nigerians will find it's just a way of gaining Nigerians' trust. That fine, if you do not feel comfortable enough when a police officer is searching you or is interrogating, you can record them. And I think the police officers should be glad that they are being recorded, because in advanced countries, they walk around with body cameras. The police officers in the United States, they walk around with body cameras. Now that's the police. They're walking around with body cameras. I don't think we should get to that stage in Nigeria, but it might just take a very long time to have body cameras on the police officers. But it's just to ensure integrity, it's just to ensure honesty, accountability, and all that. So in advanced countries, they walk around with body cameras. I don't see no reason why we should find it difficult for people to record police officers. It's nothing wrong. If you are actually doing your duty, if you are performing your duty, the thing about it is if a police officer performs his duty well,
they will actually get accolades. Like Nigerians will praise. They will go as far as posting it on social media and say, oh, there are still good ones with our police officers here, and they will post his name and stuff like that. So I don't think it's actually a bad thing.
I don't think it's a bad thing.
But in addition to all what you've said, I feel like they should also be aware that something like this have been put into place. I'm saying it because they might know. I feel like those at the top should continually ring it in your ears, especially those that got into service, through the window or some other part, and they are not opportune to be part of meetings where they will say something like this. I don't know. I'm just assuming that
they are aware. They
should be very much aware.
They've been educated. They've been thought. They are aware. Even when we had this debate about you being searched, your phone's being searched, your wallet and all, they are aware, but they will just act. You see, the thing is, they want to play on you. They will want to play on your intelligence to see whether you are aware of the laws in the land or not. They are aware. There's this small police rule book that they have that every police officer should carry or should have in their pockets or in their possession, and they are aware. And from time to time, I know they are being there's this sort of training that they undergo in their own police stations, in their command and all that. So they are aware. It's not as if they are not aware. They are aware of this whole thing, but they would always act as if, I mean, every police officer knows that you're not supposed to take bribe.
Yeah.
But they take bribe. So when you say they are not aware, if you go to every police station, you will see boldly, bail is free. They are aware. But we know that if you want to go and bail someone in a police station, you have to drop something. But they will keep on telling you that, no, you should not pay for bail. Bail is free. But
police is your friend.
Police is your friend. So all these things, they are aware of it, but they will just act. They just want to, play smart or try and be smart. But I think they are aware. As to the newspaper review, don't forget you can also take part in the conversation. You can dial our number 0700 1021 1021 or send WhatsApp message to 0907 224 5018. We're streaming on YouTube and on X at High Impact 102.1 FM. We'll go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll continue.
Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
It takes a lot of guts to golf the way we do. That's why we are the tiger in the woods. High Impact 102.1 FM.
Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
Welcome back to the newspaper review on High Impact 102.1 FM. We do apologize that we could not get our guest, Dr. Adedayo Kayode, on the phone due to some network issues. You know how this network can be. Sometimes it could be very funny, just when you least expect, but we do apologize for that. This is where we will be rounding off the program this morning on High Impact 102.1 FM. Thank you very much for tuning in. Do you have yourself a lovely weekend? I am Olumide Shokoya.
And many thanks from me, myself, and I. My name is Joy Orton.
Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your